Hi there. Welcome back to Arizona Lifestyles with 72 Sold and Holly Waxman and my three special guests. Of course, my favorite listing partner, Adam Dahlberg.
Oh, hello.
Hello,
Welcome
hello.
back. Happy New Year.
Too. And Sarah Perkins with Navi Title, my favorite title person, a marketing lady. Thank you.
Thanks, Holly.
Thank you. And my one and only daughter, Britney Waxman.
Hi.
Listing partner.
I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy for you to be here.
Thank you.
So, hey, we're starting a new year. Like, get rid of the trash, get rid of all the stuff, and let's start it happy, healthy, prosperous, and exciting with lots of love.
But cheers to a well-lived year, though. Right?
We're moving forward.
Moving forward.
Step
Well-lived
over
year.
the stuff.
A lot of memories.
Step over the
Yay, it's over.
step over the stuff, and let's move forward.
Right.
Adam, tell us about your exciting trip.
Well, got back. We were on a cruise for a week, and I was down in the Bahamas, which it was a really big fluctuation in weather while I was down there. It got in the lows around 76 degrees, and then it got into the highs around 78 degrees. So it was quite the shift from night to day. But it was beautiful. Spent a week at sea. Went to 4 ports down there in the Bahamas and Honduras, and got to see some of the Mayan ruins. And
Your son was there?
It was beautiful. Yeah, it was his birthday, so we spent.
What a good birthday!
We spent the week there and on the boat. Yeah, I love it. So the ship that we were on is called Wonder of the Seas. It's the largest cruise ship in the world. It's like a mile long. It's huge. It's a floating hotel. And in fact, if you were to put this hotel, they don't even call it ships anymore. It's just so big. It's a floating hotel. Up against any of the other hotels in the United States, it's in the top 10 biggest hotels in the country.
Wow.
But it's at sea and just floats.
Sounds like it was a big party.
It was a great time. Highly recommend.
I'm so glad you went on that.
Yeah. Now we came back and we're ready to rock and roll.
Absolutely.
Dive into this new year.
Absolutely. So Adam and I and Brittany, we're ready to take on all the listings, and we've got some new exciting programs and ways to help sell your homes quicker in 8 days and for the highest price. Right, Adam?
That's it. Yeah, for sure. It's what we do.
That's what we do. So we did put together an outline today, and we are so happy to have Sarah here to talk to us about, consumer sentiments and what the public perception is, what's happening.
It's really interesting right now because real estate is doing quite well, but a lot of the headlines are misleading and are making statements that they may be factually true, but it's making the, general consumers think that things are not good in real estate when they are. Yes, interest rates spiked, and that freaked a lot of people out. And as they've gone, they went up really quick in 22. Right. They went up again in early 23, but, and then even in later 23, but at the end of the year, which was the most exciting thing for all of us, is rates dropped over 1%. And that in and of itself right there saves buyers hundreds of dollars a month. Absolutely. When they're looking at, potential properties. And some of the things that we, talk about when we look at, okay, what's happening with rentals, what's happening with all new builds and residential resale. And our focus here, we talk a lot about residential resale, but that's a very dynamic market. And so we want to make sure that people understand what's actually happening versus some of the scary stories. So you know what? Prices this year, a lot of people at the beginning, or I guess I should say last year, prices in 23 actually went up. And a lot of people were expecting it to go down, and they were expecting that we would have big changes that would put housing prices lower, not higher, not build more equity. And so what happened is some people kind of decided not to buy or step back, and they missed out on thousands of dollars of equity gain that did happen last year. The expectation for this year is that we will see more transactions because our interest rates have fallen. There is an expectation that interest rates will continue to fall. And so for people within the industry, we see this as good news. We know that there are buyers out there who have been confused by the headlines, and they've waited to buy when now is a really good time to buy because prices are going up. They're expected to continue to go up this year as well as they did last year. We don't have our final numbers, but I mean, we're looking at like 5-6% last year when they thought it was going to be a down year. So, if they're expecting this to be an up year, some people are even talking 6, 7, 8, 9% increase.
That's amazing.
That's a big increase. And so
Right.
as long as consumers know that, the owners, they're gaining equity, that there's so much value in home ownership. That's another thing we talk about,
Right.
and there's just a lot of really good things for building a foundation when you're sitting there trying to decide whether or not you want to rent or if you want to buy. And even if it may seem scary at first, you got to talk to the people that know what's going on because it's not. And there are good things happening. In the last 3 years, homeowners have gained over $100,000 in
A lot of money.
household equity just in 3 years.
Amazing.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. And, you need a place to live. There's no reason why, if you can get a loan, why not?
Yeah. And, as Ryan tells us too, it's not something that you're handcuffed to as far as a loan and interest rates. And, the big fear right now, you talk to people like, the loans are just too high. The interest rates are too high. Well, there's things that you can do to navigate for the next few years to get those interest rates low. But, as we're seeing, those rates are starting to come down and they're coming down fast and they're coming down just almost as quickly as they went up. And so what's also going to happen is as those rates lower, our inventory is going to stay low, which is going to increase the price of the home overall. And that's the number that you're essentially tied to. That's the number you're married to for the next 30 years, right?
Right,
so,
right.
And the home. So, right now it's a great time to navigate and negotiate some good deals on homes for price. It's a great time to negotiate some terms on that purchase, which can help lower your interest rate on some buy downs. And then as the rates continue to fall, whether it's 6 months from now or 2 years from now, you can always have the option of refinancing and doing what makes sense, right? If you're paying 6.5% today and a year and a half from now, the rates are under 4 or under 5, you can just refinance at 4 or 5. You can keep playing that game all the way through the course of the loan. If something happens in the future where like COVID rates went down to 2-3%, just refinance again. The fees are very minimal to save hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month, but the price of the home is going to continue to go up. It's never going to go down, really. I mean, you have home prices that fluctuate when we have these bubbles and then they pop and then all of a sudden housing collapses. But over time, even over the long haul, the homes that people were buying back in 2005, 2006, 2007, really at the peak before everything just kind of dissolved. Even those homes have doubled in the last couple of years. And that was what, 8 years ago? It wasn't even like a long time ago, right? No,
Right.
It was 12 years ago. Sorry, 12 or 14 years ago. So, when
But our prices have from the bottom gone up. Like we've quadrupled home values, and that bottom was February of 2011. So we're talking like
12 years ago.
13 years ago. Yeah.
Well, even for building wealth, I mean, where can you put money that you can enjoy and get tax write-offs for and keep going up? And
There isn't.
there isn't. I mean, it's better than or is just as good as an annuity or whatever vehicle people use.
And you have to live somewhere, right?
Right.
So why not kind of double dip? You're double dipping on, you have to put your head somewhere at night. You have to, have something over your head when it rains. Why not make an investment out of that instead of throwing away money, renting an apartment that's going to cost you the same, if not more than a mortgage payment, and the same, if not more than what you have to come out of pocket. A nice FHA loan, 3.5% it's a lot of money, but it's not that far off from what you would need to get a nice luxury apartment.
Exactly. And the other thing which I love about our team is we look at everybody as individuals. We really try to do what's best for our clients, and we have great people that we work with, and we're there to win it for them and to make it the best scenario for them, make it comfortable, pick their dream house, pick their location. We look at the whole lifestyle of what they're wanting.
Yeah. And there's even down payment assistance programs out there. So there's a lot of times where folks come out of pocket maybe 1%, 1%.
I've even had clients come like no money down.
Yeah. You can have a little bit of a higher interest rate, but you know what? Again, that's just something it's a temporary thing.
Right.
Interest rates come up and down almost every single day. So as we go down, just make sure you have enough every month to cover the payment. Get a roommate if you have to. Move family members in. Do what you have to do to buy that home as soon as possible. We talk about the saying all the time. I think we've said it on the show a couple of times. Arborists are the same as home buyers, right? The best time to buy a home is the best time it is to plant a fruit tree,
Exactly.
10 years ago,
10 years
because you're gonna reap the rewards down the road eventually. So don't wait on that.
I totally agree. Today I was with some clients and they were looking at this spectacular home that they had a car business and they wanted to have a lot of garages and they were concerned about the schools. Here in Arizona, we have wonderful programs where, we have charter schools, we have regular schools, we have tax benefits where families can have friends not pay, put tax dollars into different accounts that the city provides for them to have reduced fees even in private schools. So
There's so many things that you can do that's case by case that is, and that's why even addressing everybody on saying, this is why this is the best situation for you. If it's a buy down, if it's how you're negotiating between the buyer and seller. I mean, there's a lot of different things, moving parts. One of the things, and I don't even know if you guys know this, but when we talk about the trends and what's happening, your team sells houses in half the time that the market sells them in. And that has everything to do with pricing properties right and knowing what's going on in the market at the time things are happening.
And it's also about a team. I mean, there's many sayings that it takes a village to raise, children. I know that when I was raising my children. And in real estate, I mean, I feel so lucky to be able to work with Britney and Adam and other people on our team that we just make it happen. We give you we give you updates of what's happening. We, like you say, we price it right. We do the right marketing, and we do whatever it takes.
Yeah, and it's based on what's happening at the time, which matters because what worked 6 months ago or a year ago doesn't mean it's going to work today.
Right. And there's public perception where people say, oh, you're just another agent. We're not just another agent. I mean, Adam Dahlberg is one of a kind. If you are able to have Adam Dahlberg sell your home or be part of the transaction, I mean, you're in it to win it. And Britney Waxman.
So is you too, Mom.
But Adam, what are you seeing out there?
Well, I have a good positive feeling for both buyers and sellers moving into this new year. The fourth quarter of 23, everyone was just kind of like deer in the headlights. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Buyers had, they were like, let's just pump the brakes. Rates are going to come down. Prices are going to come down. And you know what? They were right. They were right. Unless they had an absolute need to purchase a home in the last 4 to 5 months, it was probably a good time for them to kind of wait. And now I think we're at that perfect buying scenario. Rates have come down. More homes are going to be coming on the market. I think our team is teed up somewhere between 12 or 15 listings coming on the market just in the next 4 to 6 weeks.
Right.
And so, the availability of homes is going to be out there for buyers. And then for sellers as well, the negative is, okay, you're going to be in competition with a lot more listings, but at the same time, you're going to have a lot more buyers and a lot more buyer pool to choose from. So all in all, this first quarter of 24, man, I think it's going to be fantastic.
I agree. And we just listed for the new year, we put quite a few of our listings active, and I'd say 4 listings, we've had, 7 to 10 showings. And one thing I'm really impressed with Britney is how she does her ad copy and her photos. And
Oh, thanks, Mom. I learned from the best.
And she goes out and stages home. We had tell about that new listing we got that has a pool inside of it. We've talked about.
We have a beautiful new listing in Black Canyon. It's actually really exciting because I don't even think I'll ever see this again in my career. Like the fact that there's this indoor pool with
off the master bedroom.
That
Olympic
is such
size pool.
It's Olympic size with a private spa, a water feature, an indoor shower, a private bathroom, and then it's right off the master. And then on the other side, there's the secondary master, as well as 3 bedrooms upstairs. And then on the other side of the land, because it's about a little over an acre, there's a whole separate property where you can have like a party because there's a really nice outdoor deck where you get all the mountain views from anywhere from Payson to Sedona to Black Canyon. You can see all of them off this deck. And then from that, it's like just this guest house, but at the same time, it's like this huge space that you can just make it your own.
Workspace or have a guest over there. A great weekend or place to live your life.
This is like if someone wants to have the greatest place to live in Arizona with the true desert and everything else around it, this is it.
What do we have that priced at?
It's at $650,000. Almost, what is it? 6 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, indoor pool, fully remodeled, beautiful land.
The owner is
It's almost like you're getting 2 houses for one.
Exactly. I mean, that's a really good deal because the owner is a contractor builder. So he really put his heart and soul and, was very meticulous with the details of the home. It has a white kitchen.
And it's like only about 30 minutes away from Anthem. So it's not too bad, but it's like a nice area. So it's like if you want to go to school, if you have a kid, just 30 minutes down the street, take them to Black Canyon, take them to the, what is it?
Yeah. So
The Anthem or for high school, middle school.
And now they have a lot of online schools.
Yeah, too.
Well, people have 30 minutes to take my kid to school. It takes me 30 minutes to take my kid to school in Gilbert because the traffic is just
There we
crazy.
go. See,
It's 15 minutes just to turn out of my neighborhood.
Yeah, it took me 30 minutes every day to get to school all the time from when I was into kindergarten until they graduated high school.
Yeah, and that's just traffic.
I love the school bus.
Well, that's an hour and a half adventure, right? You got to get up
comes and
early.
takes my
Sun's
children away.
still dark
Does
outside.
it like come in front of your house?
Well, it's like 4 houses over, and they
Oh,
pick them
really?
up at 8, and they're at school by 8:12. I don't know.
It's great. And they like it, right?
And they like it, and it's wonderful.
Did you have to take the school bus when you were growing up in Chicago? No?
My town was too small. I walked to school.
My mom used to take me or my grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I took the bus, I think, for a year or two. I don't really remember. It was when I was really young. But I wanted to take the bus. My mom had to drive me to the bus stop. It wasn't even like in my neighborhood. I just wanted to take the bus because my friends were on the bus. So she would, it was almost quicker for her to drive me to school, but she drove me the other direction away from school just to drop me off over at my friend's house. And then we would take the bus to school in the morning.
Oh, that was she's so sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it was fun.
Parents were like, get out of the house, get yourself to school.
Well, back to real estate. So tell us about what forecast you have for 2024, Sarah.
I think like what, to follow up what Adam was saying is I think it's going to be a good year. There's a lot of, there's always a low point in any cycle. And a lot of analysts are saying, okay, 23 was the low point. And when we say low point, it's just in transaction units. And for people in the industry like we are, we pay attention to that. For consumers, what that means is, it depends on what the situation with the supply is, because it's always the relationship of supply and demand. And so when we've had very low supply, which is what it's been, despite having low demand, we have lower supply, and that's why prices were stable and have gone up. And so kind of what we're seeing is as we do anticipate and are seeing increased listings, we're also seeing increased demand. And so they're kind of moving together. And ultimately, the biggest thing that we're watching is, provided the interest rates do continue to decline, because a lot of people are expecting that could even fall. I read one thing that said below 5%. I'm not holding my breath for that, but even in the 5s is great. And, provided we have that happening, the expectation is if we have fewer listings, those prices are all going to be going up. And with as many people moving to Arizona, we've gotten 1 million people in the last 10 years. Like, the demand is here. We have people moving here. And a lot of people, if they were on the fence last year, they're ready to move now.
Right. I agree. Yeah. Anything new in your world?
Well, I can't believe the amount of growth that's happening in the Northwest Valley of Phoenix. I mean, when I was younger, and by younger, I mean like 10 years ago, younger, the West Side was like, it was like a foreign land. You're like, oh man, the West Side, that's so far. You had the older neighborhoods, you had Glendale, and you had, I think, Buckeye out there somewhere, wherever. And then you had this place that I'd heard about called Goodyear, Now this stuff's all like the center of town, right. Buckeye and Goodyear and you're talking about Anthem, and some of these communities that are on the West Side are so planned correctly and so well developed that it doesn't really matter where you go anymore, whether it's Chandler or the West Valley or, Buckeye, whatever, Avondale. It's so new and so clean and so well thought out and put together that there's really no bad place in the Valley to live. Growing up, I grew up, both my parents worked at ASU, Arizona State. And so I grew up right around campus. And so to me, that was kind of like the center of town, right? Because once you get a little bit further west, everything when you're driving to LA, you go down the 10. And then Mesa, and then Apache Junction was some foreign area. But now everything is grown and developed. And I mean, downtown Apache Junction looks like downtown Chandler now. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's insane. Same thing with stuff out on the west side. Yeah. And then Queen Creek out, kind of by Gilbert where I live is they're developing the whole downtown Queen Creek area. So Queen Creek used to be these old homes, and then those homes kind of got converted into like, insurance companies and like a little brewery and that type of stuff. Now they've cleared the way. They're putting in a whole downtown district, which is going to have the restaurants and the nightlife and so on and so forth. So we're ready, right? So we talked about 1 million people coming in the last 10 years. The growth and opportunity for more people to come is there. The infrastructure is there. Back in 2003, Maricopa, the town of Maricopa, which not even 6 years before that was like just a stop on a train. If you're taking Amtrak, it would stop off at Maricopa and then farms. But in the early 2000s, they started developing this town, and it was like a whirlwind, right? These developers came in, and it was like almost overnight. Within, a couple of months, all of a sudden there's like neighborhoods and all this stuff. But the one thing that they didn't do, at least they didn't plan for, was the kind of infrastructure of all the people that were buying homes out there and moving out there. And it was a lot of people from like California at the time. They would get on these buses in San Diego or in Los Angeles or wherever. And it was like a one-day tour. It was like a turnaround tour. These people would get on buses in California. They would drive across the border. They'd go to Maricopa, and they would buy 3 or 4 homes at a time each, right? They'd buy a whole block, so they get back on the bus that afternoon, back to California they would go. So
investors.
Totally remember these bus
investors, right?
These bus tours, yeah. It was like these days, you get on at 8 a.m., you get back by 8 p.m. So it was crazy because I went out to Maricopa with these 2 friends of mine, Scott and John Onneto, who we all grew up together. And we heard about like this big rush, all these homes, you could just go out there and you buy a house. We were like in our early 20s. And we thought, how cool would it be to get 3 lots down there all right next to each other? So we were going to I was going to get the first lot. My buddy John was going to be in the middle, and my buddy Scott was going to be on the other side of him. And so we're sitting in the new build construction thing. And we were talking to the agent or whoever was in there. And we're getting all the paperwork, and we're like, hey, it'd be cool because the houses weren't built yet. This was just lots. And so our friend John was going to get a pool. He was the guy that was in the middle. And we asked the lady, we're like, hey, can we just not have a backyard? Can we just not have a wall between the 3 houses? We just wanted this big like party yard. And so John was going to have the pool in the middle. They're like, I don't think the builders will do that. I'm like, well, we're going to knock it down anyway. So you might just tell them put one big wall around all 3 houses, And so we were excited because this was our first house. The 3 of us all got approved somehow because we were bartending, and so certainly well qualified to be buying multiple homes at the time. And so we go out there, we get the thing, and I remember coming back. We were driving around what was going to be the town, and there was nothing out there. There was one stop, and it was the wing place. What's it called? Native New Yorker. Right as you pulled into town, there was a Native New Yorker on the right-hand side. And that was the only place to get like food or drinks or to do anything out there for years. But we're driving around, and I remember coming back off that highway there. I think it's like 247 or something. Is that 347, whatever that highway is? And it's like 17 miles from the entrance of Maricopa till you get to the 10. And that's it. It's that one street. And there was an accident on that street, and I was stopped there for 2 hours.
Oh, man.
Not moving, couldn't get around it. I had to pee on the side of the road next to my car. I'm on the phone with my buddy Scott, and I'm just like, dude, what is, I don't know if I can pull the trigger on this. So John and Scott both moved out there. I decided, I had friends and a girlfriend at the time that all live in Chandler. I'm like, there's no way I'm getting anybody to come hang out like on the weekends or like you're like, you go out at night and you're like, hey, you want to come back to my place? And, friends want to hang out after work or whatever. They're like, yeah, where do you live? Maricopa? Like, no way. And there was really nothing to do out there. So I missed out on that, but they both now. Anyway, the point of the story was now that town, Maricopa, right, has everything you need. You could. There's no need to leave. At the time, you always had to come back to Chandler because that's where the mall was. You had to come back to, at least the 10 and Chandler Boulevard because that's where the nearest Costco was or Home Depot or grocery store.
Right.
But all of these outlying areas 10 years ago that were undeveloped or underdeveloped are now fully entrenched and like ready for the growth.
Built.
We bought in Verrado. Remember that house I had in Verrado, Brittany?
Yep, in Buckeye, Arizona.
Yeah, Brittany and I.
It was a corner lot.
Right. It was like an hour away from our house. We used to go there. I ended up renting. I bought it for like a bunch of friends. We bought like a house, many homes in this little subdivision. And then, of course, I had to sell all theirs because when you buy it and then you sell it, you were making a quick $100,000 by the time it started to when it was up. But of course, I didn't sell ours. So I rented it. And in between, Brittany and I would go and have slumber parties there.
Oh, yeah. In Buckeye. Yeah.
Buckeye. And it was cool. There was a golf course there. It was Verrado.
Yeah.
Right at the beginning, which is really a spectacular place. But this other listing that we talked about last week, this compound that we have in Scottsdale.
A multi-generational.
I've been there at a few showings. We just put it on the Market Active at the beginning of the new year. It is amazing. It is the views are fantastic. Every window has beautiful views. And inside the house is a split floor plan, has a master bedroom with a fireplace, beautiful views. Then you go outside, they have a separate guest house, and they have a separate exercise room with its own air conditioning. And on the other side, it has...
This is in Buckeye?
No, this is in Scottsdale.
Oh, in Scottsdale. Okay.
Scottsdale, on an over-acre lot, 6-car garage, beautiful pool, and...
Lots to offer.
Mm-hmm. So give us a call. We're all here to help you and to give you a tour.
Yeah.
Any other exciting listings you have, Adam, that you're coming up with?
Putting one on the market today in Gilbert in Circle G, one of the most coveted neighborhoods in Gilbert, kind of the old school, like high-end neighborhoods. There's a couple Circle Gs around, but this one's right by downtown Gilbert. And it's on Houston Streets. Probably it's like the name, right? Everyone's like, I live off of Houston.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you know where you live. So, this one's coming up, corner lot, and just about an acre, pool, 5 bedrooms, massive. It's going to go fast. And sellers both moved out. They want it sold, heading in a different direction in the country. And so they are motivated to get it done. So I think that one's going to go. We're going to have multiple offers on this one because it's going to be so well priced. It's priced to move like tomorrow.
Yeah, ours is too. Especially for the land in Scottsdale and the views and the guest house. The guest house in itself is, how big is that?
Oh, it's 4,000 square feet.
Not the guest house.
Oh, the guest house is probably under 4,000.
No, it's like 2,000 or 1,800. I mean, it's got 2 stories, a great room, and then it has upstairs 3 bedrooms, 3-car garage.
Yeah.
Nice private backyard. And on the property with the main house, which is...
Cool.
Nice size.
Yeah. So this one in G3, is this one a gated community?
This one's not gated, but it is. It's like the original.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like the original Circle G. And I'll tell you, it's just a really cool neighborhood because it's all the big, the lots are all like acre lots. So you're in this Gilbert kind of.
Gilbert's a cool place.
Gilbert, all this new development, right? Everything's
Yeah.
new there, and then all of a sudden you go into kind of this area where people still have acre properties. They're all custom.
What is that priced at?
So this one's going to be 1.19. All the other homes around it are in the twos, This one's just ready to rock and roll. They're ready to move on.
Wow.
They lived there for 40 years. They're like original owners of it.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Ours in Scottsdale is a new build, so everything's brand new in it. Yeah.
New build versus
Yeah, but they're all really nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Different homes. And one thing about working with us, we just want to exceed your expectations, get your home sold for the highest price in 8 days, and
Make it happen.
make it happen.
All right. Well, welcome to the new year.
Welcome to the new year, and thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye for now.